Angel Grove Radio.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Angel Grove Radio. My name is Jimmy. I want to thank you guys for joining me because I'm really glad that you're here. This is our first video on this channel and we actually really like it here. We hope you like us here too. So if you're a Power Ranger fan, that means you probably know a lot about Power Rangers, and that is awesome. But I'm hoping that today I can give you 5 facts that you might not know about Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, to be specific. There's way too much, there's way too many seasons to go over everything. So today we're going to be sticking with Mighty Morphin. If you guys like this video, we'll try to do another one for a different season. Let us know which season you want to see. But let's get started. So the first fact that you might not know about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is that Tui Trang isn't the original Yellow Ranger. So I'm not gonna jump into the Super Sentai thing. Like, no, we'll talk about Sentai later. But in this specific instance, the original Ranger was actually played by a different actress. Her name is Audrey Dubois, and she played Trini in the unaired pilot.
The sphere will have an angular decay of 3.1 to the minus 10 with a drag coefficient of 0.9875.
Oh, so in other words, if I spin the ball and I aim for the pocket, I'm gonna get a strike.
Affirmative.
Yo, Trini, Billy, what's up?
Yes, there was a different Trini who was cast before. Unfortunately for Audrey, she decided not to follow through with the show. She ended up getting cold feet. She didn't want to leave Florida to move to LA, which is understandable. Uprooting your whole life, it's a struggle, but she didn't want to go through all that, so she decided not to pursue the show. Instead, they grabbed Tui, which is the Trini that we all know and love and miss dearly. The next fun fact is that the Yellow Ranger is actually a guy. No, I'm not referring about Tui, I'm not referring about Trini being guys, I'm referring to the suit actor. There's a reason for it. If you have ever noticed, the Yellow Ranger looks very, very masculine in the first season. That's because the suit actor is a guy, which shouldn't actually surprise anyone because most of the suit actors are guys. But what does surprise a few people is that the character who the Yellow Ranger is based off of is a guy. Let me explain. Power Rangers takes its fight footage, its sword footage, and most of its in-suit footage from a show called Super Sentai. Specifically, Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger, which for Mighty Morphin. In this series, the Yellow Ranger is actually a guy, and ironically enough, his name is Boy. So I thought that was hilarious. So that's why the Yellow Ranger looks really masculine in the first season. In later seasons, they ended up fixing this because they ran out of footage to pull from. So they had Toei create more footage. This time, the suit actor for the Yellow Ranger was more feminine because of Mighty Morphin. This also explains why the Pink Ranger has a skirt and the Yellow Ranger does not. So speaking of footage and new suits, did I see new suits? I don't know. The White Ranger suit, this is fact number 3, the White Ranger suit is from a completely different show altogether. It's from the following season of Sentai, and it's from a show called Gosei Sentai Zyuranger, and that's why the White Ranger suit looks, theming wise, different from the rest of the Mighty Morphin suits. So what ended up happening was the Green Ranger powers ran out, Tommy was written out of the show, and around this time they were already running out of footage, which is why they wrote Tommy off. Fans started demanding that Saban bring Tommy back, and they brought him back with a brand new suit because they had to get new Zord footage. Like I said, they grabbed Zord footage, fight footage, and suit footage from a different show. So they took this opportunity to get the Zord footage from Zyuranger, and while they were at it, they grabbed their 6th Ranger, which became the White Ranger for Mighty Morphin. Why didn't they grab the suits? That's a whole nother thing, but I'll go ahead and tell you anyway. They had the option to use the Zyuranger suits, but money was the biggest issue. They didn't want to lose money. What happened is Saban had already made new product deals Bandai had already made toys, all using the designs for the original Mighty Morphin suit. Bringing in new suits would have kind of messed those plans up, and they still could have made the toys, and they still could have made those new products, but the concern became that parents weren't going to want to buy stuff with the old Rangers on them when they could just buy the same stuff with the new and current Rangers on it. So that's why we didn't get the cool looking Zyuranger suit, but we did get their Zords. The Thunder Zords are all from Zyuranger, so at least we got that. Alright guys, fact number 2 is that Tommy was supposed to get his own show. Actually, not Tommy, more like J.C. David Frank, who played Tommy. So what happened was, Tommy was a super popular character, so Saban figured, we already had the super successful Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Tommy is no longer in the show, the kids love Tommy, which means the kids love J.C. David Frank, let's give him his own show, and they decided to give him his own show called Psycon of Cybertron, which eventually became VR Troopers. Now they went as far as filming a pilot for the show, but during this time, kids were writing to Saban, as mentioned before, that they wanted Tommy back. So what happened was, they grabbed J.C. David Frank, like as mentioned before, put him back in Power Rangers. They grabbed Brad Hawkins, who was actually going to be the new White Ranger, and put him in VR Troopers as Ryan Steele. So they just did a swap. Fun fact, Brad Hawkins also played Trey of Triforia, or at least voiced him in Power Rangers Zeo, so Brad Hawkins still became a Power Ranger. Lastly, this is one that not a lot of people know, hopefully. That's the point of this video, is to teach the children about the Power Rangers. Alright guys, the last fact is that Dan Southworth actually auditioned to play Adam, the Black Ranger. So, as you probably remember, there was a point where they transitioned Jason, Trini, and Zach out. They brought Rocky, Aisha, and Adam in, played by Steve Cardenas, Karen Ashley, and Johnny Young Bosch, respectively. Well, Dan Southworth almost played Adam, so we wouldn't have got Johnny Young Bosch. So what happened was, during the audition process, Dan Southworth got pretty far in. He was this close to getting it, but they told him he was way too intense, and they gave the role to a much more timid Johnny Young Bosch. Now, they loved Dan Southworth, so they offered him the opportunity to be a suit actor for the live events, and that's what he did, donning the same black spandex he would have donned otherwise. With all of that being said, you may know Dan Southworth went on to become the Quantum Ranger in Time Force, one of the best seasons ever in my honest opinion. But since Dan Southworth was doing these tours, it means that in the 90s, if you met the Black Mighty Morphin Power Rangers at your local mall, it's very likely that you were actually meeting a Power Ranger in disguise in Eric, the Quantum Ranger. So that is pretty much it, guys. My camera is telling me to hurry up because the battery is dying. Thank you guys once again for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We look forward to making more cool stuff for you guys. And until next time, may the power protect you.